Joining us now, Garrick McGee, the head coach of UAB. Also joining us, linebacker Patrick Bastian. Patrick, good to see you.
Good
to see you again. We talk about what coaches learn between their first and the second year. They talk about players, the big jump between the sophomore and junior year. What did you learn first year as a head coach?
Well, a lot about myself. I think that's what gives us a chance moving forward while we're so confident moving forward. It starts with me. I tell a story all the time that in our first game last year against Troy, there were 2 running backs that touched the ball before Darren Reeves touched the ball. So I'm going to coach a lot better football this year. He's going to get the ball a lot earlier in the game than that.
You mentioned your offense. There was a little problem with your offense because you ranked the best in school history, going over 5,000 yards. How pleased, considering your quarterback was young, how pleased were you with your offense last year?
Well, the expectations are very high with an offense. We have a philosophy. We have a way of coaching offense. It doesn't surprise us when we move the ball at a really high level. We have a way of thinking about offense, practicing it, preparing, installing our offense that we really believe in. So it doesn't surprise us. We wish we would have scored a lot more points, eliminated turnovers, penalties were a problem. And there were some games, the game against Central Florida, we had 600 yards of offense, but I think only 24 points. So moving the ball is one thing, but putting points on the board is different. That's how you win.
Frustrating for coaches, and Patrick, I haven't forgotten you, don't worry about it. But frustrating for coaches, you put 600 yards offense, but the penalties, how do you coach that up?
Yeah, well, the way we do it is you get your kids to grow up and let it all slow down. We spend a lot of our time talking with our players about the mental game and the emotional game. I believe everybody's a 3-part person, your mind, your body, and your emotions or spirit. And physically, our body, the physical part, we're a physical football team. We have a lot of very good players, fast athletes that enjoy playing football. Where we have to develop and grow going into our second year is mentally and emotionally, understanding the ups and downs and dealing with the ups and downs of a game. Mentally understanding how to make consistent decisions that are right. And I think that our coach staff has done a really good job of attacking those 2 parts, understanding that we're a physical, fast football team.
Patrick, let's talk about the defense, because I think probably one of the highlights of spring was the emphasis on creating turnovers. You look at that, only 6 interceptions last year. How much emphasis was put on taking the ball away this year?
Well, that was basically the main point of teaching over the spring. We were focused on turnovers. Basically everything we did before practice, during practice, and even after practice, turnovers was the main focal point. Like you mentioned earlier, the offense was able to move the ball with ease over last year. So our main thing is we want to keep the ball in the quarterback's hand for as long as possible. We want to get our defense off the field and our offense on the field. So through spring practice, where we attacked our drills, everything was focused on turnovers.
How much did the defense, Coach talked about growing up, how much did you guys grow up last
I think
year?
we did a lot of growing up. We played a lot of young guys last year. And not only did they grow up mentally, but physically. I mean, they're older. They're a year older. They're sophomores. Now. We're an older defense, and I think we're going to be able to see that through the play.
Are you going to be lining up 2 different ways on defense? 4-3, 3-4. Is it going to be interchangeable this year, or are you going to stick with one?
No, it'll be multiple. I think that nowadays what people are doing on offense, especially in our conference, this is a fast-breaking, spread-out conference when it comes to offensive football, that you have to be multiple on defense to put more pressure on the quarterback mentally and force him to make decisions after the ball's snapped. So we're going to be multiple.
Austin Brown passed for over 2,500 yards. That was a record for UAB for a young player like himself. Where does he have to improve on and not get stuck on, gee, I had a great year last year?
No, well, we have a way of, especially with quarterbacks, not letting them get stuck on what happened last year, which is to coach him really tough and really hard and make him concentrate on today and getting himself one day better so tomorrow he shows up a better player. But I think that all quarterbacks, I pride myself on being a quarterback coach. And what quarterbacks have to do is the overall development from your footwork to the way you deliver the ball. That's the physical part. But mentally understanding what you're doing and the schemes that we're running. But the way you take it to another level is you really study defensive structure and understand how fronts are set and the coverages have to match the front behind it so that you know where to run the ball, where not to run the ball, know where your fastest completions are, know where the weaknesses in the defense, where the pressure should come from, so that when the ball snapped, you already have an idea of what to do with the ball.
And you probably didn't have the whole offensive package in at the beginning of the season for this young player. How much can he take on this year as opposed to last season?
Yeah, well, I get that question a lot. Going into our second year in the offense, are we going to put the whole offense in? And we did it totally different. We're kind of simplified everything we're doing because we feel like we have very good personnel, very good players. If we just find out what they do best and just do that we're going to be fine. That's how we're going to eliminate the turnovers. That's how we're going to eliminate mental errors. It's just simplify everything, offense, defense, and special teams, and give our kids a chance to just go out and play fast as they can play.
Do you like that, Pep? Do you like it back that's simplified, where there's no, as the coaches used to say, paralysis through analysis?
I think it's necessary, especially on defense with the fast-paced offenses nowadays. It has to be simplified. Being able to just call a play on the move, letting your guys call on the field, it has to be simplified.
And you talk about the simplified. Does that include blocking schemes? Because you look at the amount of sacks you gave up last year, and to be successful, that stat obviously has to improve.
Yes, sir. That's a very good point. And sacks, to me, is an 11-man operation. The quarterback has to get you in the right protections based on what the defense is doing. Quarterback has to take the proper drop, set, and get the ball out on time. The receivers have to hit the landmarks at the right time. The tight ends have to understand if they're a part of the protection, or if they are releasing, they have to get to their spots. The offensive line has to do a good job of blocking the down guys. So it's an 11-man operation for us. A lot of times, you talk about sacks, you point directly at an offensive line. But that's not the case at all. I think that coaches on this level understand that, sacks are 11-man operation.
Patrick, when you went through spring drills and through this summer, outside of yourself, which one of your teammates have you noticed a difference in, and he's kicked it up a notch? Is there anybody?
I like keeping in the linebacker family. I'm a linebacker man. I like to say I'll give two guys credit, and they're two younger linebackers, Shaq Jones and Destin Challenger. They're two guys who I could see both being all-conference linebackers.
Talk about your kicking game. We don't give enough love to the kickers. You had a kicker last year, had an outstanding season.
Yeah, well, we got Ty. Ty is our kicker, Ty Long. He's in Conference USA, so he's in the same conference with the kid from Tulane who's, the best in the country right now.
And Chris Boswell down at Rice, too.
Yeah. So any other conference, Ty would probably be, first team all conference. He's one of our tough guys. I said that last year, which means when the game's on the line, Ty is tough enough to go out and put the ball through the post. We understand that. But we also have Hunter Mullins, our punter, who led the conference, I believe, in punting average. So that's how you establish a good football program. You have two quarterbacks that are capable of moving the ball down the field, so you have depth at that position. You have very fast, athletic kids all over the field on defense, and your kicking game is going to be sound. You can trust both kickers to come through when you need them to come through. That's why we're so confident, and we're really looking forward.
Have about 30 seconds, but the first 4 weeks of the season, you'll play at Troy, at LSU, and Vanderbilt. What do you want to get out of that? Obviously victories, but what do you hope to accomplish by playing that caliber of team?
Yeah, we want to establish our identity, that this is who we are. This is how we're going to play football as we move into our conference season. We want to be physical on offense and hand our tail back the ball, throw play actions off of it, and complete the balls for touchdowns. Defense, we want to put a lot of mental pressure on the quarterback, not necessarily blitzing, but force the quarterback to make decisions once the ball is snapped, and see if we can get them to turn the ball over. That's the philosophy we want to play with, and we want to get that established in the first 4 games.
Gentlemen, thank you. We wish you the best of luck this year. Look forward to seeing you during the season. We'll be back.
Thank you.